Man, I've been talking to you all and I have not been recording. It is funny because I thought that I was recording without talking, and then as it turned out, I was talking without recording. And it has been a busy, wild morning, and work might blow up in a very not good way. And so now here I am trying to hope that somebody finds this thing we're looking for before it is too late. It is just one of those kinds of days, and I don't know what I can say other than it is unfortunate. But I watched a lot of videos this morning on how to stand out better on YouTube, how to do better on YouTube, and all the good strategies and having quality content and all of that stuff, and the benefits of quality over quantity. One thing that the person did point out that I got a lot of value out of is that quantity equates to quality. You can't make a quality product until you've made a decent quantity of said product. And so videos are kind of very much so the same way, in that it's hard to know what a quality video is until you've made a couple of them. And part of being an audience does help that a little bit, but there's always an inherent difference and disconnect between what am I trying to say? There's an inherent disconnect between the creation process and what am I looking for? The creation process and the experience of that process. A lot of people in the writing world will say that reading is writing and writing is reading, and so if you want to get good at writing, you need to get good at also reading. And to a point that is correct, but it is easier to consume media than it is to create it, and so it is very easy to get into that trap of just consumption nonstop and never actually creating anything. And so you have to try and find your balance in that you are creating something and also consuming it, if that makes sense. And the hope here being that so you gain stuff from consuming stuff, but it's not going to be a direct comparison to if you just created it, so to speak. And so that's the big difference here is I don't consume very much at all, actually. I pretty much only create, and I am learning creation through the art of creation, and my consumption is very low. And I think if you're going to let one be less than the other, that's the smart way to go. And when you get to the point where you are a successful creator, your consumption is probably minuscule, because at that point you devote all your time to creating. And I'm hoping that if I can conduct myself in that way, if I can conduct myself as a creator already, even though I'm not by technical terms a creator, then I can get to where I need to be and figure out what needs to happen. And so hopefully I'm a step ahead of everybody if I'm already conducting myself in that manner. And so from there, it's just a matter of hoping that eventually the work pays off, people start to pay attention, and everything kind of falls into place. But watching these videos and things about how to create a successful video or channel or whatever does help me to kind of put things in a better perspective. It helps me know how to leverage things. And the issue is that everyone is different, and I try to apply some of their tactics and strategies, and you want to be able to upload frequently. I'm uploading a video every day, and my niche is a very broad target. I'm not really niching down in that, like, I am talking about just this. Like, I have a multifaceted life, I have a multifaceted platform of videos, and that's just how things are going to be. And I feel like, because people give contradictory information. They're like, you have to be unique, but you also have to follow these set rules and guidelines. It's like, it's very difficult to be unique and following your rules and guidelines at the same time. I feel like with any form of creation, it's important to know, like, the rules of that creation and what makes it successful. But to the same end, knowing the rules is only going to take you so far. And, like, there are rules that you should and cannot break unless you are an established, like, great person. I am seeing a lot of cops on the roads today. What is going on? At any rate, there is a lot of rules of creation that is good to know, and to know how to work around and to know how to bend. But to the same end, like, you have to kind of follow those rules as well. It's a very tricky balancing act that we play. And so trying to figure all that out is just another thing that we have to try and figure out. But I feel like it is more important to be different, and it is more important to be unique, and to give people a unique experience. I was watching a Sam Sulek video because I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, and, like, I was inspired by his success to try and do my own thing that is similar to him. Like, this is not completely original to myself. Like, the idea of just filming a video while driving somewhere came about from watching his videos, because he does that a lot. More often than not, on his way to the gym, I'm on my way to work, and maybe that's the key component, is like his conversations on the way to the gym pertain to the gym, while my conversations on the way to work can pertain to anything from work to me writing books to me creating cartoons. And maybe that is the part of the portion that is hard for people to niche down on, because they're like, what is he going to talk about today? I don't know. But from my perspective, like, if I were watching a creator, I would be kind of fascinated by that, because he's got all of these different things going on, and it's like, okay, what is he going to talk about today? Like, that doesn't have to be this stressful and confusing thing. It can be an exciting thing. And, like, you think about an episode of, like, a variety show, or, like, even, like, Mr. Rogers. Like, Mr. Rogers is the consistent personality on his show. He might talk about wildly different things every time he's on the air. Well, I don't know that I would say wildly different, but he's going to talk about different things every time he's on the air. He's not going to talk about the same thing every day, because that bores even children. And so, with that being said, I think variety is good, and it's just the kind of channel that you hope to create. But, like, going back and watching Sam Sulek's video definitely helped me to figure out, like, where I'm going, because I was able to figure out what was going on at that point, and I was able to just understand things overall a lot better. And so I'm just hoping that, oh man, I keep losing my train of thought because my work brain keeps punching in through my, like, trying to talk to you guys brain, and it is just hitting hard this morning. It is just not a very good morning, so I apologize if my focus is a little off. But watching the Sam Sulek video, and, like, Dry Creek Wrangler School too, I think the biggest thing about Dry Creek Wrangler School that I don't captivate on is his ability to tell a story. Like, I feel like most of the time he's telling a pretty elaborate story in a pretty, like, good way, an informative way. And so, like, I might sit here and talk to you guys for hours on end about topics A, B, and C, but I'm not necessarily relating it to a story. I'm not really making a story out of it. I'm just talking about stuff. And And like, once again, is that entirely necessary for it to be a story? I don't know, because the Sam Sulek content sure doesn't seem all that story oriented. So at any rate, I am just constantly hoping and trying to figure out what is going on here. And at the end of the day, just really wanting to succeed and to do something that I can do and just be myself about it, if that makes sense. I keep getting instances, or the Dry Creek Wrangler person will continually say that, well, he doesn't continually say, I think he said this in one episode and I just kind of stuck with it, but he says that he would rather succeed on YouTube being himself he'd rather fail on YouTube being himself than succeed at being someone else. And that is a powerful statement to make. And I feel like my unique self is the most unique thing that I can bring to YouTube. And it's like, it might take a while to break the mold and to break out and be interesting and be noticed and all of those things, but like, you have to trust that it'll eventually happen. And like, the upload schedule, like, I've got the upload schedule down. I don't have highly edited, highly put together videos, no, but I do have an effective upload schedule that has gotten me somewhere decent in this life. And so just trying my darndest to figure that out and to get to where we need to be, and hopefully getting there, and hopefully not letting the stresses of today blow my mind up. But it's just a yucky, not fortunate feeling. And so hopefully I can get into work and we can clear our minds and we can breathe easy, but to the same end, like, it is just not a super awesome feeling right now. And I have a feeling that I'm going to get in and we're going to have to try and frantically look for this thing that it says is there. Everything points toward it being there, but because I didn't physically go locate it, now it's going to be a whole big thing. Hopefully it can be located. It's like, part of the thing is you got to be able to trust the system, and if you can't trust the system, then everything around you just kind of breaks. And that's the issue that we're running into right now, is I trusted the system, and if the system is like, oh, I lied to your face, then everything around it just breaks. And so hopefully we can just go on from there, figure it out, and everything will work as it should. And if it doesn't, then we have a problem. But yeah, it has just not been a great day, and it has not even really started for me yet. But that is at the end of the day, what it's going to be. And like, these things happen. Eventually somebody's going to have to try and figure it out. But yeah, hopefully I can figure out what I've got working on, because if I can't, then I can't, and we just have to keep on keeping on. And we have all these issues and excuses and trying to figure things out. It's just difficult, and life never stops being difficult, that's for sure. Well, I don't know that it stops or doesn't stop, I don't know. I would think that it never stops. The line of work that I find myself in definitely never stops being difficult, that's for sure. But that's an entirely different thing. And eventually, I will come to a realization about that too. But until that day comes, I am going to continue on being the way that I am, and hoping to gosh darn goodness that we can succeed. And I don't know that there's much else to be said about that. And so hopefully everything pans out this morning. That's all I can really think about. I feel like I had a pretty solid conversation with you guys, considering how distracted my mind was. But at the end of the day, my mind was distracted. And I also feel like it was not the greatest experience ever. And so I don't know what today is going to bring us. I don't know if it will bring us pleasure or pain, but I do know that it has so far not been a good experience. And so, but you gotta walk into work, you gotta grin and bear it, because that is the way of the world. And it's going to come down to the fact that I didn't physically check the inventory, I'm sure. And if I have to eat that, then I have to eat that. And see what that looks like from there. But it's kind of a difficult and chaotic experience. And I don't have the ability to step away and breathe very often. And like I said, you have to be able to trust these processes that we have in place. If you don't, then you'll drive yourself insane. And so, I don't know. We will soon find out. It's Thursday. The week is almost over. So if this is the worst day that I have, then can only get better from here. And then I have a weekend ahead of me and all that fun stuff. And so hopefully it's like I don't even want to go in right now. It's like I don't want to go in to the office until I know the thing has been found. And hopefully it has. And if it hasn't, then if it hasn't by now, then I feel like it's just lost. Surely they've gutted everything out of the place that it says it's in and identified whether or not it's there. But everything would point towards it being where it needs to be. And so, and it's like we haven't had issues with things going missing here recently at all. And then of course today we would. And so I've got to try and figure out what's going on with it. I'm gonna fire up my laptop before I go in. It's just to gather as much information as I can. So that, and then I don't have anything to write down on. This is just not a great experience to be caught in the middle of a morning. And that is always the case. It's never some simple thing, some easy thing that was supposed to happen. It's always got to be this big old complex, complicated problem. And hopefully somebody found the thing and they just haven't told me. You would think that they would tell me, hey, we found the thing, so that I don't have to keep looking for it or keep thinking about it. But no one has said anything yet, and I'm almost in the office. So I'm going to pull up my laptop and look it up again and then call somebody and be like, did you find that thing yet? And see what they have to say. Because all I know is all I know, and I need to stop getting distracted. And I was on a good roll talking about YouTube stuff, and then I fell off the wagon and started fully engaging in work stuff. And part of the problem is with the in-town driving. It's a lot easier for me to just talk to you guys and vibe while I'm driving on the highway. The in-town driving is a little bit more involved. And I keep thinking oh, I'm practically there. I can stop talking about productive things and it won't bother them. But realistically speaking, I pulled in town at 15 minutes into this video, and we're now almost at 20 minutes into the video, and I'm still not parked and finished with the video yet. So it's like potentially I had a whole 4 or 5 minutes of just me kind of ranting on about irrelevant work stuff that is not a part of the topic. And I feel like that's a good chunk of it, is just like me getting off topic and talking about other things. And like maybe that's part of the appeal of the video. Maybe that's why the videos don't succeed. The guy who was giving advice is like, yeah, you don't want your view count to look like an immediate fall off. He's like, that's not a good sign. And so you gotta find a way to keep the people watching, keep them interested in your content. And it's not easy to do when there's an entire YouTube's worth of content out there that you don't, there's an entire YouTube's worth of content out there that you have to compete with. And that's what he was saying as well. It's very competitive. Like, there's a lot of people on YouTube these days, and chances are that someone is doing the same kind of content that you are, and they're either doing it better or they just already have an audience of people. And if that audience of people is satisfied with the product that they're seeing, then why would they be at all interested in tuning into your product? And that is a very solid point. You have to leverage your unfair advantage, or your X factors, as that guy would put them. And I feel like that is the portion of this that I don't know what mine are. Like, I would think just like me being me and my personality would be enough, but like maybe not. Maybe I need something else. I feel like I kind of know that that's not enough, but like what I don't know is like, does that count as an X factor at all? I feel like it does. But at any rate, it has been a very distracted morning. I hope it gets better. I hope you guys have a better one than I've had. Goodbye.